Yes, team, and welcome to the next edition of Mindset Mastery. So, an area almost all of you, including me, need to work on without any shadow of a doubt, whether it's in body or business, is delaying the instant need for gratification. Or, in Freeman speak, slowing the fuck down and stop looking for the quickest, easiest, pain-free way to achieve things. This training, I think this will probably become the most watched training because 95% of you who were on the higher level Unbreakable Elite plan with the training and nutrition, next time you put this in your check-in, I'm just going to be sending you this video. And I'm going to get people to watch it over and over and over and over again until it sinks in. Because the thing that's holding most of you back from achieving your goals is the speed that you think you will be able to achieve them in, or that you should be able to achieve them in. So, have you ever considered that delaying the instant need for gratification is actually something that you need to practice? Probably not. So, when it comes to fat loss, and I found myself having this conversation time and time again. Like, fat loss and weight loss, whether you're one of these people that's obsessed with the scales, and if you are, you need to stop that. But likewise, if you are on a fat loss plan, they should be going down over time, but you can't control how fast it's going to go down, and you can't control whether it's going to go down every week. Yet, the world has convinced so many people that fat loss is a cash in hand job, that you work for 7 days and you get paid your ridiculous reward, which has probably either been shown on the internet or you've seen someone else, aka Karen on Majaro, who just lost £7 in her first week, that you have an unrealistic expectation of what you think is achievable in the time frame, or it might be something that you've achieved and then you think that needs to happen every week, and if not, something's wrong and you're not good enough. So I want you to listen to me very fucking carefully now. One, the body cannot create or destroy more than a pound of body fat in 1 week. The end, case closed. Happy to debate that with anyone. Anything else in terms of weight is a fluctuation of lean mass, glycogen and water. So when you lost £7 in your first week, you didn't lose £7 of body fat. In fact, you probably didn't lose any body fat. You just dropped all the excess water and all the excess glycogen. Much like if I emptied this can of Monster all over my desk now and put it back on the scales, it's going to weigh a lot less. But guess what? Once it's empty and then I put it on the scales again, 7 days later, weighs the same, doesn't it? Just let that thought sink in for a while. Now, also, it pretty much takes 10 days or more for a single pound of body fat to create or destroy. So here's the good news. When you came back 7 kg heavier from your holiday, you didn't. You essentially came back with a little suitcase you carry in your muscles of glycogen and water that's weighing 7k. Gee, have a low carb week for the same amount of time that you were on holiday and you will lose that. Nothing was created, nothing was destroyed. It doesn't happen that quickly. So if you're expecting to see those big numbers every week and then you're throwing your toys out of the pram because the scales didn't change and you saw someone else who'd lost this much, or once you did it one time before you've lost that, that's what's holding you back. That is what is destroying you. If you think the scales aren't going to change every week, right? If the scales changed every week, you'd be fucking dust by Christmas. There'd be nothing left. And I'm also not buying into this bullshit of I haven't lost any weight or the scales haven't changed because muscle weighs more than fat. I swear to God, if I hear that one more time, I'm going to lose the plot. Right? Muscle might weigh more than fat. It also takes about 15 times longer to create. So if you're, again, and coaches say this, right? I'm going off on a tangent already. But fucking lazy coaches whose clients aren't getting results, either because one, they don't have the fucking balls to tell the client to eat less food and work harder, so they play lip service to them and say something like, oh, well, you know, the reason you might not have lost any weight is because you've gained a pound of muscle and you've lost a pound of fat. Bollocks, right? Absolute bollocks. That never happens, ever. But it won't happen every week. So, yes, you know, if any human gained 7 pounds of muscle and lost 7 pounds of fat in a 12-week period and weighed the same, they would look absolutely fucking phenomenal. However, that just wouldn't happen, okay? It's not realistic. And it won't be the same every week. So if you are attaching your self-worth and your belief and your motivation and your confidence every single week into that must change, and if not, I'm not good enough and something's wrong, then you're never, ever, ever going to succeed. That's like a business owner saying, like, my bottom line has to go up £1,000 every single week when I do my accounts, or every single month, and if not, something's wrong with my business. Well, every business owner would be a millionaire straight away. So there's always going to be fluctuations. It's always going to go up and down. And there's always going to be seasons where you lose a lot in one week and you don't lose in other weeks. That's normal. So you need to drop this expectation, one, of thinking it's going to happen every week, and two, the speed at which you think it's going to happen. Because once you've done your first 1, 2 or 3 weeks, when you might lose, fucking hell, I've had clients lose 2 stone in 3 weeks. 2 stone of apps. I think Nick Lockerbie was the fastest ever non-fat loss transformation, but by his own admissions, he was drinking 14 bottles of Brothers cider every single day and eating 5 times a day off the plate that was the size of a dustbin lid. So, not surprisingly, when I pulled him down to 2,500 calories and he stopped drinking, that he dropped 2 stone in 2 weeks. Once you've got that initial drop, once we've got rid of all the stored glycogen, all the shit, all the water, we've pulled your calories in line, we've pulled your carbs in line, if you're losing any more than a pound of fat per week after that, then you're just unnecessarily over dieting and making yourself hungry, which is going to reduce your energy, which is going to reduce your productivity in the gym, which is going to reduce your output, which means you're going to burn less because you don't have the energy to fuel the session, so you can't work as hard. So that's one angle you need to look at it from, but also there will be weeks when you don't lose weight, because even if we're saying, right, a pound per week every week, well, is anyone on Unbreakable telling me that they are perfect every single week, that their training is perfect every single week, that their nutrition is perfect every single week? If you are, then you're more disciplined than Nat and I. And the last time we looked in the mirror, we had pretty good physiques. Okay? Not everyone has a perfect week, but again, what you'll do is you'll jump on the scales, forgetting that on Monday you had cake, forgetting that on Tuesday you had a slice of pizza, forgetting on Wednesday that you didn't go to the gym because the kids were ill, but you had a good day Thursday, Friday, Saturday, but then you jumped on the scales, oh, I'm disappointed, you know, and guys, I mean this with love, but I need you to get out of this mindset. There's multiple people in the last 3 to 4 months and multiple people in the last few weeks alone that have actually written out in their check-in, and I'm going to come back to how this isn't just fat loss mindset, this is business mindset and life mindset. They've written out in their check-in, I feel amazing, I went to the gym 5 times this week, my partner can't keep their hands off me, my bras fit differently, my leggings fit differently, I had to put an extra hole in my work belt, my boss noticed I look at this picture, I look amazing, but I'm fucking pissed off because I jumped on the scales on Sunday and they hadn't changed and I thought I'd have lost more, and I was having a great week until I stepped on the scales. Like, just stop, please. You've just said you look amazing, you feel amazing, you're doing amazing, other people are noticing that you're doing amazing, but you became obsessed by that number. And this is also what happens, right? So if we're talking 10 days, so if you have 10 days and nothing changes, guess what? You've got 10 good days in the bank. How do you think I'm shredded all year round? How do you think I could stuff my face this week and not gain a pound? Because I've got 12 years of that, right? But I didn't get there by doing that, by messing up every week, by skipping the gym, by skipping meals, by not tracking my food accurately, by making excuses, by running to the pub and the barbecue every weekend. One of my knobhead friends went, do you want to come for a drink? Okay, so imagine when you've got 10 days, that's in the bank, that registers on day 10. And then you do another 10 days and that's in the bank and that registers on day 20. And then you do another 10 days and that's in the bank and that registers on day 30. All of a sudden, I've built this bank up and it's registering 10 days later and 10 days later and 10 days later and 10 days later until did that for 12 weeks. The first 12 weeks that I didn't drink, I didn't cheat on my diet, I did cardio every day and I did weights every day. I've built such a bank of calorie deficit and a bank of training that even if I had 4 shit weeks on the trot, it's not going to wipe out the 12 before. But what's happening is most people aren't getting past day 10. And I'm going to address this today. Some of you can't go 7 days without a drink. You can't go 7 days without cheating on your diet. And then you're disappointed with the results you get. Well, if you're disappointed, go and look in the mirror. Unless you've been perfect, then you just need to be perfect for longer. Because once you've stacked those weeks upon weeks on weeks upon weeks, a bad week doesn't even register. But if you keep going good week, bad week, good week, bad week, good week, bad week, of course the scales aren't going to change. If you keep going good 5 days, Monday to Friday, lax Saturday and Sunday, good 5 days, if you create a deficit of 2,500 in the week, well, that's one fucking pizza on Saturday and 3 glasses of wine away from wiping it out. And then you step on the scales and you haven't lost weight. Well, of course you haven't. Because the deficit that you created Monday to Friday, you wiped out with one loose decision on Saturday. And the other story that I always tell this, a coach who I coach, because I coach coaches as well, and he said to me, some of you guys will remember, I always used to go to Harvester and they do this breakfast where it's $9.99 for breakfast and you can pay a £3 supplement to have 3 ounces of rump steak. And I used to have that and you could have as many pots of guacamole as you wanted, as many eggs, any type of egg, as many sausages, as many bacon, as much toast, as much guacamole, mushrooms, tomatoes. I used to fill my plate. I used to have 4 of everything. Like the girl in Harvester used to be just like, look at me like you're disgusting. But yet I was sat there ripped and shredded and I used to post it on my stories. And then the coach who was coaching round me up, he was like, will you stop fucking posting that on your stories? And I says, why? He went, because like I've got all my clients on low calories and they're all on quite low carb and they're all on they're on chicken and rice and sweet potato and you're just posting that. And my client said to me the other day, how the fuck is Lee Freeman that shredded? He's in Ibiza fucking every other week. He's always eating burgers and he's always doing that. And I said, what's the lesson that you need to tell him? And he paused for a minute and he went, you didn't get shredded eating like that, did you? And he's nailed it, right? Now because I'm shredded, I can pretty much eat what the fuck I want and drink what the fuck I want unless I'm a real dick for a long period of time. But I didn't get shredded getting pissed every weekend and eating crap. I didn't get shredded eating 94 items off an all-you-can-eat £9.99 breakfast once a week. I got shredded and then I maintained it. So that's what I want you to take away. It's either one, you're being perfect and you've just not done it long enough, or you're not being perfect and that's why it's taking so long. And again, this is the same. I had this, how long has Mindset Mastery been running, right? As a business outside of Unbreakable with the fitness and nutrition. Well, the funnel was only finished on Monday. I've only been running the Instagram for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. There's already 16 people that have signed up to it. Yeah, I was having a meltdown because basically I'm not doing £4 million a week yet and I've been doing it for 3 weeks. So if any of this sounds judgmental, I get it. Like Nat said to me the other day, she was like, what, like, babe, you've been doing it like 3 weeks and you're constantly disappointed. Nobody's replying to your messages. No one's replying to the outreach. People aren't commenting or liking on the reels. No one signed up today. You know, creating my own misery. Like, it's hardly been on any time at all. Like, do what you've been doing for 3 years and then moan. And by the way, if you want a world-class business or you want a world-class body, that's pretty much the minimum investment time. And what I'm going to discuss today, I'm late on this training, by the way, because the other one went over, and this one's going to go over as well, because I'm on fire. I've had far too much Monster, and I've got far too much inspiration. Cam's just rolled his eyes because he probably wants to go fishing or something later. So we could be a long while. We could be in for a long stint here. So the first thing that I'm going to discuss is the good habits and the bad habits, and how you will never even thought this, but imagine, just hold this thought for 1 second, right? Because I'm feeling inspired. What if delaying the instant need for gratification, not wanting things quickly, was actually the key to getting results quickly? What if not wanting results quickly, delaying the instant need for gratification, was the key to getting results quickly? Because it is, and I'm going to blow your mind with why. So, first of all, good habits and bad habits. So, what happens with a bad habit? Okay, what happens when you drink 3 glasses of wine? What happens when you sniff a line? What happens when you shag someone you shouldn't shag? What happens when you place a bet? What happens when you get angry and punch someone's face in? That's just my history. You get an instant reward, right? And there's no payback. You drink a glass of wine, all the pain in the world goes away. And there's no instant drawback. You don't become fat and depressed because you just had 3 glasses of wine. And in the moment, it feels great. You put the tunes on, you're dancing on the table, all the pain goes away, the debt goes away, the relationship troubles go away, the past goes away, you're pissed, you're having the time of your life. No drawback. Might get a bit of a hangover the next day and feel a bit stupid about how you behave, but that's it. And then you do that for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 weeks, months, and all of a sudden you've gained 3 stone. You can't even fucking go to a barbecue without drinking anymore because you've forgotten what it feels like. You're drinking every week after work, okay, to numb the pain of the situations you're not dealing with. You don't deal with the situations because, to be honest, every time you wake up, you just can't be arsed. All you're thinking about is how many carbs can I eat to get through this day because I've got pissed again last night. And it goes round and it goes round and round until all of a sudden, 12 months down the line, you're a fat, lonely, single skin alcoholic. But none of that pain came instantly. The reward came instantly. Same as when you eat cake, right? If you eat a massive bit of cake now, you don't end up fat. But if you eat the cake every day for 90 days, you're going to be a heifer at the end of it. Now, what do good habits do? This is why it's so hard. There's no instant reward. Like I've just talked about, if you have the cleanest diet in the world for the next 10 days, if you work on your mindset every day for the next 10 days, that probably would have a bigger impact than most other things. If you go to the gym every day for the next 10 days, if you practice kindness and compassion over jealousy and greed, you're probably not going to have a life-changing experience. In fact, something worse is going to happen. The gym's going to be painful. Getting up's going to be painful. Saying no is going to be painful. You get no instant reward and you get a fuck ton of pain. Sound. Where do I sign up? This is why people find it so hard. But guess what? After 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 weeks of working on your mindset every day. 12 weeks of eating clean. 12 weeks of being kind and compassionate and protecting your energy. 12 weeks of saying no to toxic people and places. 12 weeks of eating healthy. 12 weeks of going to the gym. You've had a completely and utterly life-changing transformation. But it didn't happen in the beginning, did it? Bad habits, instant reward, no instant drawback or pain. Good habits, no instant reward, but pain to go through them. but whichever road you decide to take will lead to where you go. You either go to a quick fix 6-figure fitness mentor builder who's going to give you a load of money and tell you that you can achieve the world in 12 weeks, and you're going to get a big fuck off slap in the face that it doesn't work that way. It was some teenager running Facebook accounts in his bedroom, and if you want to do get the real business, you're talking 3, 4, 5 years of consistent graft. Some people will have that lesson a million times until they finally go, oh, actually, I'm going to have to do the work. Oh, actually, no one's going to do it for me. Oh, actually, it's going to be painful. So remember that next time you're making a decision. If the reward's instant, then it's not going to be lasting. If the action is pain-free, it's not going to be lasting. But if you're doing something and you're not getting an instant reward and it's hard and you continue to do it, that's the key to great things. Now, you guys know on these trainings, I always like to bring in a little bit of personal story to it. So March 2013, so I had nothing apart from a broken neck, my Cocker Spaniel Frankie, a nightclub business that I hated, a toxic friendship group, a divorce settlement, and a serious coke habit. Hardly the foundation of a great life, is it? And I also grew up with nothing. You know, I had more than most when I moved back to live with my nan and granddad at 13 years old. But apart from that, I lived in a toxic household with toxic, abusive people who didn't even have 50p for non-uniform day. And I was the scruffiest kid in the year. And I had a very, very shit life. So no haircut, no football uniform, minging school uniform and everything in between. Yet in that period, so that might be what you're seeing as your shit place now. In that period, all I knew was that I wanted to be successful. I wanted to be better. I didn't want to live that life. I didn't want to live in that shitty house, that shitty car and that shitty life and that shitty school uniform. I saw other people with nice cars and nice houses and nice lives. And I'm like, I want that. I want to be better. And I had that mindset even at that age. I used to like save pound coins. I always tell this story when first kind of entrepreneurial experience maybe. Can't remember exactly how old I was, but you used to go to events, right? And people used to buy a bottle of beer. And do you remember when you had to give £1? And then obviously if you took the bottle back at the end of the thing, I think it was a sports event, you got the £1 back. So rather than watching the sports events, I used to go around collecting all the bottles up that the pissheads couldn't be asked to take back. I was only young, and I used to take them to the bar and I used to get the £1 back. So I always had this mindset that I wanted to be better, I wanted to be more. You know, and again, even at that age, I started watching things like Karate Kid, and I started doing karate and teaching myself to box and getting in shape. So, you know, even in that era, I used to look around at a lot of people. I'm like, oh, he's got it easy, him. Like they've got it easy. Like they just had all this stuff gifted to them, and you know it must be different for me. And why am I poor? And why I don't have these things? And it's not fair. And that was kind of a little bit of a loop that I lived in until I snapped out at an early age. And I was like, actually, you can get these things yourself. You just have to work for them. So now fast forward 40 years, and we live in this world of expected instant gratification. Hey, join my plan and lose 54 kg in 1 week or your money back. Join my business plan and get 17,000 leads in 4 days or your money back. You know, people, whether it's business mentors, fat loss coaches, or everyone in between, they're preying on this obsession with this instant need for gratification. And you can have whatever you want and you can have it really quickly. You know, quick wins, this fucking, I'm not going to go off on a tangent here, but this Manjaro, this fucking skinny jab. Like, anyone watching this, past or present, you're literally off your fucking tits. Like, I spoke to a woman on the weekend. How ridiculous is this, right? This is how obsessed people are with the instant need for gratification and wanting something without doing the work. In fact, I'm going to start this again because this might make quite a good reel. So I spoke to someone at the weekend who was on said skinny jab or Manjaro, and they'd lost 4 stone. And then they followed up with the comment of, and I haven't even had any side effects apart from I have started to lose some of my hair. That has to be the most contradictory thing that I've ever heard in my life. Like, and then she said, but it's okay because I'm just going to have a vitamin B12 injection for that. So I'm that lazy that I've injected myself with something because I want the instant reward of fat loss, but I'm not going to do the work. And I'm willing to have, irreversible side effects of hair loss in order to get that instant need for gratification. That's how fucked up the world is these days. And if you are that person, you will be on a one-way road to nowhere. And whether it's the quick wins of cryptocurrency or the fat loss jabs or the six-figure business people who just, all you need to do is join their plan and you can make 17 grand a day on Amazon, drop shipping problems. They're all full of shit and they're all promising you the world to try and extort money because they understand that your instant need for gratification is high. And this is what we need to change. Like, I made a lot of mistakes. I've done this a lot. I've made a lot of bad investments. And again, they were from people who were preying on my naivety. But here's why it's not your fault and it's not a bad thing. Like, I just didn't want that life that I had when I was the kid with nothing. When everyone else had nice things. And everyone else had school trousers that fitted and mine were halfway up my legs. I remember getting the piss taken out of me because they were called jack-ups. Because my trousers weren't long enough so you could see my legs and my socks. Like, I just didn't want that. So I wanted to move from that position of pain to a position of privilege and having what other people did. And I was willing to work for it. But on that journey, I then get lost by people saying, come to me, I'll show you how to do it. You don't need to do hard work, you just need to do this. You don't need to go to the gym, you just need to jab yourself with Manjaro, whatever it's called. You don't need to work hard to learn about sales, marketing, your offer, scaling, delegation, client fulfillment, systems. You don't need to learn any of that. You just need to sign up with me and I'm going to teach you how to become a six-figure business owner in less than 12 weeks. They're preying on your desires and we make decisions based on our needs and our desires. But if it's something that's promising you quick, easy and pain-free, you are going to make a big mistake. I promise you on that. Because they're preying on your need to get things quickly without doing the work. And that is fucking Disneyland thinking. That doesn't exist. And if you keep falling for it, the world's going to keep giving you a big fat reminder that it doesn't work that way until you do the work. So what if I told you today that you can actually achieve better results by delaying this instant need for gratification? What would you say? What if I told you you could achieve faster results by embracing delaying the need for gratification? You probably wouldn't believe me. Now I'm going to rewind you back to 2013 that I just spoke about recently, when I had nothing. I had less than nothing. But I still had myself, which is how I managed to rebuild. So at that point, I took 2 full years out. Not 12 weeks, not 90 days, 2 full years. No booze, no drugs, no holidays, no unnecessary purchases, nothing. Absolutely nothing that gave me quick, easy gratification. That was what I learned to say no to. The only thing I invested in was myself, coaching and mentoring. By 2015, I'd competed at the British final. I was in the best shape of my life. My mental health was 90% healed. I'd DJed globally where other people paid for my flights, my hotels, my meals and my drinks. I'd found love and I had multiple six-figure businesses. But that came from delaying the instant need for gratification. In fact, delaying all gratification for 2 full years. In fact, all my time and effort went into, and money, only went into long-term goals. Every piece of time, effort and money went into long-term goals. And that was how I became the person that could eat whatever they wanted and stay shredded, because I didn't get that body eating that way or with a quick fix mentality. Now, we're now in 2025 and I still have that body. It's slightly improved. I still have those businesses. It's slightly improved. I could have a week when I work 4 hours. I could have a week when I work 40 hours. None of that came from looking for quick wins and not being able to delay the instant need for gratification. I had to have that lesson from the universe multiple times, okay? And wasted tens of thousands on getting that lesson multiple times, unfortunately. So the key is resilience. The key is strengthening your need to look for quick and easy. Because as long as you look for quick and easy, as long as you look for the path of least resistance, as long as you look for pain-free, you're going to keep getting a reminder that it doesn't work that way and that journey will never end. You will never find the quick and easy way to make money. You will never find the quick and easy way to get ripped. You'll never find a quick and easy way to heal. You have to be willing to go the hard yards. And that means taking time out, and that means saying no. Now, if most people took 3 years out of your life, think if you're going to live until 80 years old. What is 3 years now? 3 years no booze. 3 years no drugs. 3 years no excuses. 3 years no holidays. No impulsive purchases. No bad decisions. 3 years no cheating. 3 years working every single day, not looking for quick and easy. Do you think you'll be closer to the life that you want at the end of 3 years? Or do you think you'll be closer if you keep trying to do it in 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 9 weeks before crashing and burning and starting again? How long do you think it will take you if you work for 4 days and take 3 days off? Work for 4 days, work for 3 days off. This is why delaying the instant need for gratification actually gets you there faster. Go the hard yards for 3 years. You'll get everything you want and it will be very easy to maintain. Then you can have the decision. Like I can have the decision now. I can work 40 hours a week and take things to the next level, or I can work 4 hours per week and I'm still okay with being okay and where I am. That will never come from looking for quick wins. That will never come from not being able to delay the instant need for gratification. Because what delaying the instant need for gratification does is it teaches you to focus on what truly matters. And it helps you to identify what steps are needed to achieve it. So you can ask yourself this question today. Is running to whatever social event your friends invite you to every weekend, the ball, the birthday, the wedding, the barbecue, the holiday, the lodge, the girls' weekend away, the stag party, the hen party, you could very easily fill every weekend with an event if you want to. Is that what's important to you? People pleasing to them? Drinking every weekend because you convince yourself that you can't say no? Or is achieving your goals what truly matters to you? A better future for you and your kids, more happiness, more health, more wealth. Which one truly matters? Ask yourself that question, because also what delaying does is it also teaches us self-control. Surveyed, the most attractive thing in a man to a woman is self-control. A man who has self-control. It's the most alpha masculine trait in the world. People think alpha and masculine is about being able to punch people's faces in and being big and strong and muscular. It's nothing to do that. It's nothing more attractive than self-control. Self-control what we put in our mouths. Self-control how we behave. Self-control how we treat ourselves. Self-control how we make decisions. And delaying and learning self-control teaches you to delay your impulses. Now, if you think about this, it's also I'm going off on a tangent here, but in a relationship example, and I've done a lot of research on this, on masculine and feminine energy. This is what makes a woman feel safe. If a man has self-control, he doesn't run off to the pub every time the shit hits the fan. He doesn't fill his body with crap every weekend. He doesn't drink every weekend. He doesn't skip exercise and go to the gym every time his mate said, "Do you want to go to the pub?" It even comes down to a sexual angle of self-control. You know, there's men that can't even give a woman an orgasm because they can't control themselves for long enough to delay their own instant need for gratification to get what they want in replacement of a longer, more fulfilling experience. So, you know, that's again an analogy that we're all in life. Can you say no to the short-term quick fix to get the big goal? And if you can't, that's where you're missing out. So delaying, I'm not talking sexual now, but delaying teaches you to become a master. The ability to say no teaches you to become a master of your own life, a master of your own thoughts, a master of your own decisions, a master of your own actions, a master of your own self-control. But, you know, the reality is, and you guys are going to see the podcast that I did today, most people can't even focus for 3 minutes. They can't even focus and say no for 3 days. They can't go a week without saying yes to some form of social occasion that involves them drinking because they say they need to have a drink to take the edge off. Ask yourself today, is that what truly matters to you? Does that align with who you want to be? Did you write in your mission statement, "It's July 2028 and I am so happy and fulfilled because every weekend I commit to a social experience where I drink alcohol. This knocks my energy and holds me back. I consistently quit the gym and skip on my diet before looking for the next quick fix." I don't think you did. I don't think you'd be listening to this if this is what you wanted. So stop getting drawn back into it. Be more, do more, be better, be stronger. Because when you can stop giving in to impulses, your life will go to new levels and you'll become the master of your desires, not someone else's desires, not someone else's life. This is why we need to, like I spoke about in the podcast this week, I'll post it to you guys as well, turn down the external, turn up the internal. I don't give a fuck whether Johnny's disappointed that I didn't go to the wedding last week. I don't even really know whose wedding it was. Okay? I don't give a fuck that Jane took some form of offence to the fact that I didn't drink at her wedding. That volume's turned down. Not interested. My internal's turned up. It doesn't align with my goals. Doesn't align with my life. Doesn't align with my future. Doesn't align with my needs and desires. And I've got the self-control to say no to it. And what all of this does, and this is what's so important, and I want you to write this down. Be the master of your own desires, not the slave to your impulses. Most people are a slave to their impulses. Drink, drugs, material purchases, holidays, letting their hair down at the weekend, taking the edge off, whatever phrase people want to leave. That's your impulses. It's why people place bets. It's why people invested in cryptocurrency. It's why they do skinny jabs. It's why they've wasted money on hundreds of fat loss plans that have promised the world and delivered absolutely fuck all. Because they're driven by their impulses. They're not the master of their desires. And what all of this does, and what all of us find so difficult, and it's 100 times more difficult if you've got ADHD. So if I can do it, you can do it. It teaches you the art of patience. You can't have shiny object syndrome. Some of you have absolutely had it in the neck from me in the past when you've been signed up for 4 weeks and you say something like, what do I think about this diet plan? What do I think about 5-2? What do I think about intermittent fasting? What do I think about plant-based? What do I think about keto? In fact, one person who I was actually close friends with us really politely said back, what do you think about sticking to the fucking plan that I've set you for more than 4 weeks before looking for something else that you think is going to get there quicker and easier. Sounds harsh, right? But it's so true. There'll always be, like, I don't follow business mentors on my Instagram because there's always going to be one telling me that he can get me where I want to be quicker than easier than my mentor. It's why you shouldn't be following anything to do with training or nutrition and mindset unless you're just finding it inspiring, because there's always going to be someone telling you that they can get you there quicker and easier than me. They can't, trust me. I've made the mistakes so you don't have to. But this teaches you patience. I don't have a lot of patience because I want it all and I want it all now. But every time you give in to that, you'll take a step backwards. Every time you don't, you'll take a step forwards. So have the patience to make the right decision. And as always on these trainings, I'm now going to leave you with some practical steps. So what having this patience to make the right decision and say no, it also allows you to embrace and enjoy the journey because you're not worried about the destination. You're not worried about how quickly you're going to get there. This is why from the 1st of July, I'm not doing any 90-day plans. If you're in for Unbreakable, you're in for 12 months minimum. That's it. I'm not interested in working with anyone else because I'm going against my own beliefs and my own integrity, and I might lose clients because of it, but the ones that I do gain will be better clients. So 2 other stories that make this real, and we'll give you examples before we go on to the action steps. So many of you have probably read a book, certainly those of you that have been here for 10 years, lineal, right from the beginning, The Compound Effect. So most people, if you don't know this story, you can't cheat. But if you ask them the question, do you want £2 million today in cash right now? Or do you want a penny and that penny's going to double every day for a month, but you have to wait 30 days? Snapshot, answer me now. Everybody goes straight for, I can get £2 million today. Fucking hell, I can be in the Maldives by tomorrow. 1 penny over 30 days. I can't remember the exact amounts, but it's multiple millions. But everybody would go for the £2 million because they get it today. The second one is, I think this was some Harvard test that they actually did on kids. And it was to do with marshmallows. And they said to the kids, listen, I think they had like a pot of like 3 marshmallows. And they says, listen, you can have these 3 marshmallows now, really tasty marshmallows. Or you can wait for an hour and you can have 5 marshmallows every day for the next 7 days. The stats, I can't remember the exact stats in terms of how many just ended up eating the 3 marshmallows because they couldn't resist it, but it was a lot. What the interesting stats were is that all of the kids who waited for 3 hours to then have them every day for 7 days went on to get better grades. They were more successful. They were better at sport. They achieved more in every area of life because even at that age, they demonstrated that they knew if they could just have the patience to delay that instant gratification, that what they were going to get was way more. They were going to get 35 marshmallows, not 3. All they had to do was wait an hour. But most people can't wait the hour. And this is why you keep making the bad decisions. They can't resist. They can't delay the instant need for gratification. So when you delay the gratification, you receive more. That's how I ended up achieving success, not chasing quick wins, not seeing how quickly I could get shredded. How could I get shredded for life? How could I build a business for 3 years and learn every single aspect of it so other people can run it for me and then I can have more time, money, impact and freedom? Not how can I get there in 90 days? You won't be able to do that. So the practical steps for us to apply right now in order to do this. So first of all, step 1, you need to clearly define to yourself what is your most important long-term goal that truly matters to you. Say that again. Number one, clearly define the most important long-term goal that truly matters to you. And once you've defined it, keep it visible so you remind yourself every day. Number two, create a structured plan for 3 years to achieve that goal where you can measure progress a minimum of every 90 days. This is another way that we make what might feel like impossible goals seem possible. So if you set a massive goal, let's say you set a goal, I've got a calculator here so I'll use it. Let's say you set a goal of I want to make £1 million, right? Well, at the minute, you don't know how to make £1 million because you've never done it before. That's good because it means it's exciting and it will test you. Any goal that you know how to achieve and you've done before is never going to be exciting enough to get you out of bed. But you will get lost in the shit zone if you don't know how to do that. So if your bank account is currently sitting at 50 pence and you want to make £1 million, well, that's a hell of a fucking jump, isn't it? But if we set that as a 3-year goal, okay, so where do I need to be 3 years from now to be on track for that? Well, I need to have made £333,000. Okay, where do I need to be 6 months from now? Well, I need to have made £166,000. Well, where do I need to be 90 days from now? Well, I need to have made £83,000. And so on, 27 grand a month, approximately 6 or 7 grand a week. So all of a sudden, probably not got those figures right by the way, but you get the point. All of a sudden, what seemed massive seems small. And then we can break it down. So it might not just be monetary, it might be fitness, it might be fat loss, it might be other goals. But where do I need to be 12 months from now in order to achieve my 3-year goal? Where do I need to be 6 months from now to achieve my 3-year goal? Where do I need to be 90 days from now to achieve my 3-year goal? Where do I need to be 45 days from now to achieve my 3-year goal? Where do I need to be at the end of this week to achieve my 3-year goal? Right, what do I need to do today to move towards that? So I've taken a massive fucking goal and I've micro broken it down into what do I need to do today to move towards it. That's how you create a structured plan where you can measure progress, make a huge goal seem small, but as I said, step one, you have to clearly define it first. You cannot hit a target that you can't see. You cannot hit a target that you can't see. So we have to be clear on what we want or we'll just get distracted. And the third one, again, write this down. Practice mindful decision making. You have to master this. Like, I've even had, well, you guys know, right? This happened recently. So we'd booked the Fan Dance SAS challenge event that we all went and did. I was in Belfast with Phil for 3 days before that on a business mentorship, and I ended up with things virtually a full week before and virtually a full week the week after, because I hadn't done any mindful decision. I think I had 2 podcasts the week before and a podcast the week after, and then there were multiple things in for Logan for school. And when I stepped back and looked at it, because I hadn't done any mindful decision making, I just said yes. I'd just planned. I was like, fucking hell. Like, it's not even human to do that amount of things in 30 days because I just said yes. When one of the podcasts wasn't even relevant, really, because it was talking as a business mentor, which I'm not a business mentor predominantly anymore. I'm a mindset coach. So I was essentially going to talk to loads of people who weren't my niche. They weren't my relevant market. The videography coverage was average at best. I didn't get anything out of it at all, but I just said yes to it. I didn't even think about it. And this is what you'll do with the weddings, with the barbecues, with the drinking, with the food. You won't run a process and go, right, I make mindful decisions. I have self-control. Right, someone has just asked me this. Filter, stop. Back to my structured plan. Does it align? Heart, feelings, energetically? No. Right, what do I need to do? You can simplify this even further. Every time somebody asks you to do something, stop. Does this action move me closer towards my goal or further away? If it moves you closer, yes. If it moves you further away, no. Unless, drum roll, you want it to take longer to get to your goal. So you think that not delaying the instant need for gratification gets you there quicker. But actually, learning self-control, learning to delay your need for gratification gets you there quicker. Because if you say no for 3 years, you'll probably hit your goal. If you say yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, it'll probably take you 6 years. If you say no, no, yes, no, no, yes, it'll take you less time. But essentially, the decisions that you make will control the speed that you get there, not looking for quick, easy, and pain-free. So again, ask yourself that same question. Is what I'm about to do going to accelerate or hinder my long-term progress? You know, and almost 100 times out of 100, and I've tried this, tested this quite a few times, when you're faced with a decision, and that decision, if you say yes, almost certainly gives you an immediate reward, it's almost certainly going to hinder your long-term progress. So pause and think about what it actually does. If you say yes to a social every single weekend this year, and there's some people that do that, not just one social at the weekend either, every weekend, how long is that going to delay your goal for? What would be the difference if you said no 75% of the time for 12 months? How much faster would you reach your goal if you could learn to say no? So we need to learn to embrace only actions and decisions that align with our long-term goal if we want to get there quickly. I mean, you can keep trying to get there slowly or not at all, or going in pockets of, I'll do something that I think can get me there quicker before reverting back to the old me and repeating and actually going nowhere, because we go 90 days forwards, 90 days back, 90 days forwards, 90 days back. This is what most people do. And there's a great, the greatest example out of any of these is Christmas. When clients start having a meltdown about Christmas, I mean, Christmas for me has been completely misguided anyway. It used to be, a family meal, saying grace, being grateful for the food, one day, spending time with your loved ones and exchanging a few gifts. Now it's turned into some utter fucking shit show of 30 days full of binging on as much booze or food as you can get your hands on, spending money that you don't have on material things to impress people on social media, and even wasting X amount of money on matching pajamas just so you can get a picture for Facebook. Like, that's not what it should be about. And then people start to shit themselves. Everything's going to go wrong at Christmas. Well, here's the deal, right? Even if you went a little bit batshit crazy at Christmas for 30 full days, you're not going to do that. So let's call it 15. That would be every other day for the month of December. But you'd been really good from January to the 30th of November. It's still not going to touch the sides. Just like I could go back to that harvester and have that breakfast every day for the next 30 days. It's not going to touch the sides. Like, people worry about the wrong thing. Rather than worrying about what happens between the 15th of December and the 15th of January, I'd be more worried about what's happening between the 15th of January and the 15th of December. Because that's what will define you. Not that short little period when you're overindulgent over Christmas. We all deserve to enjoy Christmas. Doesn't mean you need to be a gluttonous fat pig. But you still deserve to enjoy it and have time off. Christmas isn't the problem. Going on holiday isn't the problem. A lot of those things aren't the problem. The problem is that you weren't able to delay the gratification the entire year, so you were doing it every weekend. So the challenge for you today, the member challenge, is for you to filter and implement this in your life. So only embracing actions that align with your long-term goal, and have the balls and the courage to say no to things that don't, irrelevant of who it fucking upsets. Their happiness is not your responsibility, yours is. If it's not making you happy, don't do it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. Don't be the people pleaser that drinks every weekend just because you don't have the courage to say no. People say you're boring. Guess what? They're boring. If you can't have fun without alcohol and you think going to an event makes you boring, then you are boring. As I said, do the deep work. Work on yourself. But don't go with the flow and live a life that you don't love because you don't have the courage to say no. There's only one thing that goes with the flow, and that's dead fish. I don't think anyone wants to be a dead fish. But you'll also have chaos in your head. Because if you're constantly just doing things to impress other people, to make other people okay with your behaviour, then you're not living your true life. You're not being yourself. Of course you feel all over the shop all the time. Of course you got chaos. You're not doing what you want. You're doing what other people or society has led you to believe you need to do in order to fit in and be okay. So the challenge is, step back from this immediate gratification culture. Be willing to go the hard yards. Be willing to do 3 years, not 3 months. Because when you do the 3 years, you'll never have to worry about doing 3 months ever again. And by delaying that instant need, you'll actually reach your goal faster. And true success happens over years, not months. It takes consistent effort, it takes resilience, it takes discipline, it takes dedicated focus. But if you want to move forward, and you want to move forward faster, you have to start saying no to temptation. Even filter it even further. Every decision you need to make, like, force yourself to be able to say, no, hang on, I'm just going to stop. And I'm actually going to make this a decision, not just a knee-jerk yes. Write it down. What's the benefits? What's the drawback? Does it move me forwards? Does it move me backwards? What's the cost of investment? And just learn to be patient. And learn to be persistent. Because when you're patient and you are persistent, and you can delay the instant need for gratification, time after time after again, the faster you're going to get results. And not just the faster you're going to get results, the better and longer lasting the results are going to be. Because like I said, once you've worked for 3 years to get the body that you want, it's very hard to lose it. Same with business. If you've only worked for 3 months and you managed to get it, but everything was ridiculously over restrictive and you did it doing something that you can't maintain or something that was a quick fix, then it's going to be very easy in the next 3 months to end up back at square one, as many of you will have noticed in the past. Guys, have the best day. I love you all. I'll see you soon.